Phillies Nation is so scared to trade a prospect when they have a chance to win a World Series. And we're going to talk about how insane that idea is. Literally insane, in my opinion. We're going to talk Phillies baseball. Sixers Nation massively overreacting to Summer League Game 1. It's all right. We're going to have a little fun with them, though, on that topic. Ryan Rothstein, 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey, will be joining us in about 30, 35 minutes to talk Phillies, Sixers, Eagles, everything. Guys, Trey in the AM, we are live, taking your thoughts and opinions on all things Philly sports in 60 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody. Welcome to Trending in the AM right here on Edge of Philly Sports. We are live. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, you know the drill. Whichever platform you are watching on, hit all those buttons. Smash that like button, that share button, that subscribe button, that follow button. Whatever buttons you can find, hit them and get them out and do what you got to do to help spread the word, to help get everybody in the conversation as possible. Guys, it's going to be a fun-filled day, a great show. So let's get this thing started today. I'm your host, Phil Stiefel. You can find me on all social media platforms at Bearded Knowledge if you're interested. I'd greatly appreciate that. And we're talking Phillies baseball. We're talking Sixers Summer League. We've got Ryan Rothstein of 97.3 ESPN joining us to cover all things Philly sports in about 30 minutes or so. So let's get into it today. And I already see comments already rolling through here. Unless you're getting back Mike Trout in his prime, there absolutely needs to be untouchables. I disagree. I wouldn't either. But you need to look at outfield as a whole. Our outfield has been atrocious. Good morning, Joe. McCain should be starting point guard. I've seen enough. Yes, Sixers Summer League, Sixers Nation, rejoice. A bunch of guys that aren't going to play in the NBA beat up on a bunch of guys that aren't going to play in the NBA. Woo, yay, let's go. Mitchie Poo, what's up? Yeah, there's going to be a lot of Bona jokes throughout his entire time. What's greater, the Alec Bohm jokes or the Bona jokes? You know, they're two of them. My Bona, Mitch. Yeah, exactly. Once big roster is established, the system is to flip players. Look, so I'm under a lot of it right now. I'm in a lot of heat right now with social media, with Twitter, because the Philadelphia Phillies have a window open to win a World Series right now. They have one massive, glaring weakness in the outfield, maybe even two. Rojas, Pache, Merrifield, even Marsh against lefties are not good enough to platoon two positions. You are trying to win a World Series. And Phillies Nation does not want to trade prospects for any of the outfielders that are out there. They're scared to trade Aiden Miller. They're scared to trade Mick Abel, Griff McGreary, any of these guys. Because Brent Rooker or Jazz Chisholm or Lewis Roberts aren't Mike Trout. And I'm constantly berate it with comments. Well, we were so bad, the Phillies, from 2012 to 2009 through 2019 because we traded so many prospects between 2007 and 2011. Well, let me ask you something. Out of all those prospects that we traded, none of them went on. None of them did anything in their career that if you would have kept them would have made us better in 2014 or 16 or 18. No. Pretty much they all sucked. Carlos Carrasco is the only one that ever did anything even remotely good. But let's not trade Aiden Miller, who's 19 or 20 years old, because in 5 years he might be something special. Considering he's blocked to begin with, his path to the majors anyway. The fact, the Phillies have been in baseball for almost 150 years. They've won 2 World Series championships in their entire career as an organization. They are the losingest team in the history of sports. The history of sports. Yet we're worried about 5 years from now and what our depth might look like in 5 years. When in reality, 8 to 10 of the core 26 of this team are locked up for the next 7 to 10 years. We don't need a young prospect pitcher right now. Andrew Painter is tradable, people. Aiden Miller is tradable. Now, I'm not saying dump 3 top 10 prospects for anybody that's on the market. But if it comes back, one of these guys, the deal was held up because Aiden Miller couldn't get moved. Dave Dombrowski refused to move Aiden Miller. I'm going to lose my shit. Thank you, Sal. I have screamed that all year. Someone is listening. Look, I'm always listening. Carrasco was good. Carrasco had a good time. He's still pitching in the majors now. He beat cancer, was able to come back. That's all great. But Carlos Carrasco wasn't going to make the 2015 Phillies a playoff contender. And he was traded very early in the process, maybe like 06 or 07. I don't get this theory that you can't trade prospects because this year's tradable market, the people that are available in trade deadlines aren't Mike Trout level or aren't Juan Soto level, which Juan Soto might be available, which I'd empty the bank for him. Unless it's Juan Soto level player, there's no way you overpay. Know your market. But see, here's the thing, Nooms. Here's the thing. And I could draw a little parallel with the Sixers here. This trade market, there isn't that super elite player. The Rookers of the world, the Roberts of the world, the you want to go pitchers, you can go Zach Eflin or Garrett Crockett or Kroshek, however you say his name, Cody Bellinger. This is what's available. This is the best available. Everybody's going to want one of these guys. That's available. You cannot if there's 4 people trying to get one outfielder, you got to pay. Just because he might not be worth it does not mean you can't pay it. Are you going to be content going into October with Johan Rojas, Christian Pache, and Whit Merrifield starting in the playoffs? No. You need to be better in the outfield. 100% better. I said it last year. I would have traded Andrew Painter before Tommy John surgery if it netted us Shohei Ohtani even without the commitment. Now, I'm saying Andrew Painter now, coming off of Tommy John surgery, trade him. You have 4 starting pitchers locked up for the next 4 to 7 years. You don't need them right now. Draft somebody else on Sunday in the Major League Baseball draft and start developing them for 2075. I want a World Series now. 2 World Series in 150 years, and we're worried about our 3rd-ranked prospect being traded. 4th, depending on what list. Nobody's untouchable. The only person I'm holding on to in case of a massive deal for like the Mike Trouts of the world, as you guys claim, is Justin Crawford. Because he's the only one not blocked right now, and he's the only one that I am most confident has elite skill sets. Good morning, Little G. Hope you are well. Mike Green, look, go to my Twitter page, Beard of Knowledge. I put multiple tweets out on this yesterday, and I am getting smashed by commenters because you don't trade Aiden Miller because he's going to be some special guy in a few years at a position that we don't even know what position he's going to be playing. Why? Because he hasn't been, he's blocked in every position. Like, it just boggles my mind. And it annoys the living shit out of me that we are holding on to maybes. Because in 5 years, we might need them. Get the F out of here with that. How's Juan Soto available? I'm not sure why he's available. Probably because the Yankees aren't committed to paying him 10 years, $300+ million, whatever deal he wants. God only knows. I mean, at his age, I think he's 25. 10 years, he's going to get more than 300. 10 years, he might get 350, 400 million, which baseball numbers are just insane. We think basketball numbers are insane. Baseball numbers are even crazier. What did Pat Gillick give up for Matt Stairs again? I don't remember. Which one was the Matt Stairs trade? There were so many trades from 07 to 2012 even, because they were trying to hang on in 2012 still. If you remember 2012, I think at the All-Star break, they were right around 500, and they were still quote-unquote buyers at that point. I don't remember what they gave up for Matt Stairs. But it wasn't Roy Halladay. It wasn't Bryce Harper. It was a prospect that probably did nothing in baseball. Soto might not want to go back to the Yankees, so in that case, I'd keep options open. I don't even need a long-term commitment from him to trade for him. I don't need a long-term commitment to trade for Juan Soto. Juan Soto would make our outfield 100 times better and our offense 100 times better immediately. Call him up. Andrew Painter and Aiden Miller for Juan Soto. Do the deal. Done. Get it over with. Why not? Scott Kingery, that name sounds familiar. Scott Kingery. Couldn't trade him. Don Brown. Couldn't trade him. Mike Taylor. Couldn't trade him. Kyle Drabeck. Jesse Biddle. How about we go really deep? We go Jesse Biddle. Forget about it. Harper should be in right field. I think it's a debatable topic, Barbara. It's debatable. And it might happen someday again. I'm content with him at first base, though. I am. What did we give up for Blanton? I don't remember exactly. Was that the one where he was with Oakland? I'm thinking of the guy's name. He ended up being nothing. Ottman, I think, was his name or something like that. I think it was Ottman was the reliever's name. Nothing. I think Miller could play at any infield spot, and Stott hasn't gotten an extension yet. Only untouchable should be Painter. Andrew Painter's untouchable, Justin. Zach Wheeler, Ranger Suarez, Aaron Nola, Christopher Sanchez are here locked up long-term. You've got a 1 through 4 locked up long-term. Andrew Painter's coming back from Tommy John surgery. You don't know what he's going to be like. Teams are still going to value him. You trade him. Andrew Painter is not untouchable to me. Oh, I get what you. I'm doubting my own knowledge, Nooms, for not remembering. I think Jesse Ottman, was that the kid's name? I forget whoever it was. The Joe Blanton one, I still vaguely remember. Matt Stairs, I don't remember. We traded Lou Marson, the catching prospect, and Luke Donald, the second base prospect. And people weren't up in arms in that. That was the first Cliff Lee trade. Guys, prospects are just that. They're prospects. 98% of them are not going to even make it to the majors, let alone be successful. And you hope they are who you got in your minors, whatever. And the thing that I get crushed on Twitter a lot, the thing I got crushed a lot for was that the core in 08 to 11 were through the minors, Utleys, the Rollins, the Howards, the Hamels, brought up through our system. And they were our core. Well, our core is made up of guys we brought in already. Our core's got Bryce Harper, Trey Turner, JT Realmuto. It's got the daycare. in Alec Bowman, Bryson Stott, and Aaron Nola. We've got the core brought up. We've got the core that we signed in free agency. We need the extra to win a goddamn World Series. And people are worried about 19, 20-year-old Aiden Miller or 20-year-old Andrew Painter right now. Forget about it. If we won 3 World Series in the last 10 years, maybe I'd be thinking differently. But this is the most inept franchise in the history of sports. And we're worried. Because down the line, we might meet these kids. Get the F out of here. Have confidence in your scouting department, in your development department, that the next guy up can develop. The Yankees aren't going to trade him now? Yeah, I don't know. Sixto Sanchez, pitcher Howard were a huge bust. People were up in arms, Barbara, when we traded Sixto Sanchez for JT Realmuto. Up in arms. And the catcher isn't in baseball anymore that we gave up in that deal, Alfaro. Sixto Sanchez is hurt 97% of his time with the Marlins. Ludicrous. Hell, if I'm the Marlins, I'm not answering Dave Dombrowski's call on Jazz Chisenholm because he might send us some more damaged goods, would be what I would be thinking. Yankees have 4 automatic outs in that lineup. They have the most pressure on them. The Yankees are going to be wheeling and dealing. There's a lot of teams with the second wild card that are wheeling and dealing, that want to, make runs here with the extra wild card. Sorry. That's why Cody Bellinger is going to have a high price tag. That's why Brent Rooker is going to have a high price tag. That's why Lewis Roberts is going to have a massive price tag. You got to pay to play. You want to be on the court, you want to be on the field for a chance at a title, you got to pony up. There is no Ohtani on the market. There is no Mike Trout on the trade market right now. Honestly, you wouldn't want Mike Trout himself physically anyway. But you get what I'm saying. They're not available. Who's available is who's available. You're going to have 8, 10 teams trying to get 4 or 5 outfielders. Well, you know what? You're going to have to outbid your opponents. The Dodgers need outfield help. The Braves need help. Do you want Cody Bellinger to go to the Braves because you didn't want to give up Aiden Miller? Get the hell out of here. How many guys on this team now were brought up through the minors? Stott, Bohm, Nola, technically Rojas, even though we don't want him here right now, he is. Marsh wasn't, but we traded for a prospect for him, but whatever. I'm trying to think who else might be from our Kirkring. We go into our bullpen. Kirkring, Alvarado, Dominguez, Christopher Sanchez. There are a lot of guys, Ranger Suarez, that we brought up through our system. So there is that core from the minors. Ranger Suarez wasn't a top 5 prospect that all of a sudden is a Cy Young candidate. Christopher Sanchez wasn't some top 5 prospect. Just because they're a top 5 prospect doesn't mean they're the ones that are going to be successful. I got the Phillies list of top prospects. Maybe prospect number 12, no, he's 24 already. That's a bad example. How about a Mario Boyd, outfielder? He's 20. He's in high A ball. Maybe he's the future guy. Maybe Raylan Heredia, 20-year-old guy in single A. Maybe he's the future. Number 15 on our prospect list. Guys, if Aiden Miller is the difference between a World Series championship or not, I'm 1,000% trading him for anybody. 1,000%. And everybody else is nuts. Nuts for being so hung up on these guys. Mitch, hey, Bo. We're going to talk that Summer League stuff in a bit. A lot of Brent Rooker talk. And Brent Rooker, you trade for him. He's under control through 2027. He was an all-star snub. I've got a couple of the bigger names that are linked up on my screen here. Let me see his numbers real quick. The glass, my screen is just far enough away where the glasses don't work, but also just far enough away where I need the glasses. He's hitting 278. He's got an 891 OPS. He's got 18 home runs, 54 RBIs, Rooker right now. He plays a combination. Hold on, I have I have the page down here. I don't want to get this wrong. Where's his positional usage? He's a DH / right fielder / left fielder. All right. So he's not the best fielder because he is DHing more than he is playing the field. But you know what? You stick him in left field. He has average defense. You move Brandon Marsh back to center field, and you got Nick Castellanos. All of a sudden, Rooker slides into the 7 hole in this lineup. And all of a sudden, this lineup is even deeper once everybody comes back, which are getting Kyle Schwarber back tonight, it seems like. Good morning, Eric. How you doing? And so does the Phillies have 3 or 4 auto outs. Phils have pressure too. Absolutely. We cannot go into the playoffs with games with Rojas or Whit Merrifield or Pache starting. We just cannot do it. You can't. You need to address this now if you are a serious contender to be in the World Series. You can't. Healthy Phil's team doesn't have 4 auto outs. You got your outfielder. Yeah, healthy, I guess you don't. You still have an automatic out in the outfield. You have literally one massive glaring weakness, and it's in that outfield. Starting pitching, debatable. Relievers, you can always use a new reliever. But let me tell you something. That outfield is one of the left center field combo. Actually, I think the whole outfield, I read a stat and I forget what it is literally the 28th best outfield in baseball right now, offensively speaking. Name 3 what, dude? Catcher, first base, shortstop, and all outfield positions are from outside the Phillies organization, as is Wheeler, right? And second, third, starting pitching, multiple of 3/5 of your starting rotation is brought up from the minors. A bunch of your bullpen arms are. Every team is built in a combination of prospects and free agents. Heck, if I'm the Marlins, I'm thinking about how good Ricky Council. Yeah, we're going to talk that too. Because coming up in about 10 minutes, Ryan Rothstein, 97.3 ESPN South Jersey, will be joining us. We'll be talking Phillies. Maybe we'll touch on a little of that summer league. If not, we'll touch on the summer league later in the show. Yeah, here goes Phil. Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to read some of these prospect names on this list, and I got no clue how to pronounce some of these kids' names. After Soto and Judge, Yankees have a 275 OBP. Phils don't have that level of an issue. But if you want them to upgrade the position, the Yankees might want 2 of the 5 or 6 names on the market. You're going to have to pay to play. You can't win it if you're not in it. Yeah. Get Rojas back to the minors. He's just not ready. He's just not. If anything, I've heard rumors that Rojas' name could be a part of one of these packages for one of these players. Good. Go. Deuce. I want a World Series. Strom and Hoffman are both above average pitchers having good seasons, but they are very questionable to be in the All-Star team. I disagree, Barbara. I think it's great that baseball sent 2 middle relievers. Hoffman's kind of middle relief / closer. Strom could do it all. They're having that amazing of a season where I think it's pretty amazing that they're getting the recognition. The Jeff Hoffman story, literally designated for assignment like 97 times in his career, and he keep fighting through. Now Hoffman will be a free agent at the end of the year, and he's going to get a big payday. So I love the Hoffman-Strom stories. Strom's also got a great baseball card collectors YouTube channel as well. Yankee Stadium is way worse. Don't put a spin on it. The 3 outfield positions have been auto outs this year, and I'm not putting Stott in that count. Yeah, absolutely. Nick Castellanos has been better the last month or so. But that outfield as a whole is one of the worst outfields, offensively speaking, in all of baseball. Plain and simple. I'm done with the Rojas project right now. Now you're going to throw big words. Yeah, look, guys, no arguing. Discussions, not arguing here, right? Isn't that what we do? We discuss. What there isn't up for discussion is SherryTickets.com being the best ticket reseller there is out there. Great prices, no hidden fees on sports tickets, concerts, theaters. Go to SherryTickets.com. Use promo code EOP10 at checkout to get 10% off. The price you see will be the price you pay. No hidden fees. You need a more personal touch, and call them 610-494-5050. Again, SherryTickets.com. Promo code EOP10. And if Hoffman does not get paid this offseason, he should call. Yeah, well, you're trying to. I do the segues, not you. My job is the segues. If those guys were on different teams, you'd feel different. What? I don't understand the question or the comment. What would I feel different about? This Phillies team has a chance to win a World Series this year. This year. And years to come. The core of this Phillies team, 10, 12, maybe more, of the core of this team is locked up for the next 3-4 years. Outside of Cody Bellinger, all the other major names that are available are all under control for multiple years. Brent Rooker through 27, Jazz Chisholm through 26, Roberts, 27. Hell, I'm going to throw Zach Eflin's name into that old standby. Guy that could pitch in the 5-hole and pitch out of the pen in the playoffs. He's under control through 2025. There are names out there that, yes, you're going to have to overpay. But outside of Cody Bellinger, they're not 1 year or half a year rentals. They're 2-year, 3-year rentals. And then prospect number 12 becomes prospect number 3 and maybe does something. I'm trying to win a World Series in 2024. I've got a core built and locked up. I am going to maximize it. My owner has spent record numbers of dollars on this team. If I'm Dave Dombrowski, I'm not going to let that go to waste. I'm going to use everything in my cupboard to give myself the best chance come October. That's my point. It's discussion opinions, not all will. Look, I know not everybody will agree. Go check out my Twitter page, Mike. I made multiple tweets about this yesterday. Literally 90% of the fans that follow me do not believe or agree in this philosophy that there is no untouchable in the Phillies organization right now. There is no Mike Trout in our organization. There is no Shohei Ohtani. There is no Bryce Harper. There is no Trey Turner. There isn't. Trade them. Yeah. Oh, my God. Trade. I'm surprised they haven't traded yet. Oh, okay, so you're saying they don't belong on other teams. Yeah, I mean, but see, the thing is, Strom and Hoffman, Barbara, if they were on another team and they made it as a middle reliever, I wouldn't be following their story. So I would, maybe I agree that they belong there is because I've been close to following their story because they're the Phillies. I'm sure there's a Strom or a Hoffman on a lot of teams that you can make an argument. The Phillies being in first place helped to get to first place because of them is why we're so emotionally attached to them. Rojas isn't even going to be starting for this team in 2 weeks. He better not be. Shouldn't be. Jim, what's up? I'm all in. Let's go get a World Series. I'm with you. Trade the prospects to win now. There ain't no can't miss 1,000% lock candidates. There's not. You trade them. Jim, you guys need a realtor, the best right here. Look this guy's name up. KW. Jim. Realtor of the stars right there. Good morning, John. How are you today? Roll the dice. You were right. We are set for 5 years. Trade prospects now and get some offensive help that's been dismal at best. John, I hope you're doing well, my man. I don't understand the uproar about not wanting to move a 20-year-old kid for a chance. If we had won 5, 7, 8 World Series in the last 40 years, even. Sure. Think big picture. But we're not. We are the most inept sports team in the history of sports. And we're worried. And we're worried about a couple prospects. We're built on minor league guys. Now you're agreeing with me that they've done both, Barbara. There are a lot of guys on this team that were brought up. And there were a lot of guys that were brought in. There is a huge mix of brought up guys and signed big name free agents. This team was built differently than the 08 team. This team was built through a few prospects and some really big high-priced free agent tickets. It's fine. It is what it is. 08's core and a majority of 08 was brought up, and then they added little pieces. But again, find me one of those prospects that we traded that would have made the 10-year downturn or whatever years, it was 12 to 20, like 8-year downturn, better. There wasn't any. All these can't-miss prospects bombed the last time we went through this. So trade them. Muchas gracias. Thank you very much, Joe. I appreciate it. I try to make this the best morning show. I try to make this the best show, period. You guys don't got to pay to have your voices heard. Other channels, I watch shows, I put a comment, but I don't pay, so it doesn't get played. No. What we do here is something special. We got something special brewing in the morning here. When your GM puts you in position to win, you play like the window is closing. Yeah. You never know when that window is going to slam shut, when it's going to get bricked shut. You've got an opportunity right now. You go get that World Series crown. And let me tell you something. Dave Dombrowski, I'm ready to trade anybody. There's literally, even Justin Crawford for the right person would be traded, in my opinion. But Dave Dombrowski, like me, ain't afraid to trade anybody. He's not. So don't be shocked if Aiden Miller goes. Guys, check out phillysportstrips.com. They are the premier travel partner for your favorite Philadelphia sports teams. Whether it's premier travel packages or premier travel or tailgate experiences, make sure you check them out, phillysportstrips.com. They got a great package to Brazil to see the Eagles take on the Green Bay Packers week 1 of the season. But they also got great tailgate things like the Italian Heritage Night at a Citizens Bank Park. They got trips to Pittsburgh, Miami to see the Union. They're taking spring training deposits for your World Series champion Phillies, all ready for 2025. And, of course, all our other great Birds takeover events in Tampa, Baltimore, Dallas, wherever. Make sure you check them out, phillysportstrips.com. Make sure when you sign up on their website, you let them know EOP and Trending in the AM sent you. Greatly appreciate that. Trade Suarez while you're at it. No, I don't know about that. I mean, he is a key guy. I know he's given up 11 runs in his last 2 starts, but that's because the wifey's in town. I'm guaranteeing in 8.5 months, there's going to be another baby Ranger around, just so you know. Hey, the Eagles have won Super Bowl, and Lori proclaims they are the gold standard of some. Yeah. And Howie Roseman is always making the bold moves, going out and signing Saquon Barkley because the window is open. It may backfire, but he's swinging for the fences. The Phillies window's open. Swing for the damn fences. Hey, I appreciate that, Barb. I do. For the right person, what is this a Meg Ryan stop? I got a movie question for you, Marshawn. We're going to save it for the final 10 minutes of the show. The most insane movie question I'll ever ask on this show will be saved for the last 5-10 minutes of the show today. Guarantee it. One that you're not going to believe. Torres, Volpe, Wells, Verdugo, Lemieux. That's the level of garbage I'm talking about. Yeah, I mean, they're not elite names. They're names that were good, some of them at one point, had hype at one point. I'm 56. I don't do okay. I will tell you I played up and through college and sat next to Pop Joe Barth, probably one of the best minds in American Legion. Yeah. This team needs help. This team can win a World Series. This team could theoretically win a World Series without making a trade. But do you want to theoretically maybe have a chance? Or give yourself the best chance, period. I want the best chance, period. That's what I want. Not afraid to trade anyone, but you want to sync with Embiid, though. That's different. Look, it's this Phillies situation is similar to the Sixers, and I'm trying to draw parallels there. Look, Paul George is not the best player to give a 4-year max contract to, but he was the best available free agent when you had the opportunity to get him. Now, if there's other guys better than him available, we would have had a different conversation. And I don't Google. Yeah, I try to. People like to call me out, Mike, when I'm wrong. So I try to get my facts straight sometimes. Now, I don't Google pronouncing names, but I could probably do that. So the only ones I could think of is Carlos Carrasco, Ryan Sandberg was like 40 years ago, though, John. And Carlos Carrasco was not even close to Ryan Sandberg's level of success. Carlos Carrasco's been nice. He had one really, really good year. And he's been a serviceable pitcher for like 65 years now, I feel like. But that's it. Sell the farm. Farming is a dying business anyway. Most farms in America go out of business anyway. The tax breaks aren't that good. Guys, win now. Not 5 years from now. Now. Now is the time to win. Ranger throwing all balls. Oh, my God. The Ranger jokes that we could make. Yeah. Yeah, the Braves did win last night. We are now only 7.5 games up on them with an extremely difficult series against the Dodgers coming up. Tonight's our best chance of throwing their weakest pitcher in the series tonight. We do have Wheeler, Nola, and Sanchez going in the series. I'd like to think that we could get 2 games in the series. I hope they can get 2 games in the series. Kyle Schwarber should be back in the DH spot tonight. There is a slim chance Bryce Harper's back tonight. My guess he's held off till about Thursday or Friday. Which, honestly, if you hold him off till Thursday or Friday, you might as well hold him off till after the All-Star break. Make sure the hammy's 100%. But it seems like he's good enough to go, and this team is at a point where they need him back. JT should be back after the All-Star break. That's huge, getting those 3 guys back. And those 3 guys not missing extended time is pretty massive. But again, hell, if I'm Dave Dombrowski, I would have already made a deal for an outfielder. In my mind, in theory, trading earlier before more teams find themselves fight. Like, if you trade on July 1st versus July 30th, when everybody's trying to make that last-second deal for Cody Bellinger, say, or Brent Rooker, the price goes up a little bit. You make it 30 days earlier, maybe you're competing with less people. I'm surprised he hasn't already made a deal. I really am. We're up 7.5 now after last night. We did not. We were up 8 going into yesterday. Braves played and won. We didn't play, so we are up 7.5, not 8 at this point. Phils, I'm your Google girl. Ferguson Jenkins in the 60s is one that got away. Okay, all right. Yeah, over the last 150 years, a couple guys got away from the Phillies. But right now, I want a World Series championship. I want the best shot possible. You do that by trading, by not labeling 20-year-old kids untouchable. I hate the term untouchable. That was my point. 2 guys in 40 years, sell the damn farm now. Oh, I know that was your point. And we're on the same page. There's very few of us. Surprisingly, a bunch of you are in the comments. Surprisingly, my ideas and my thought process is winning the chat today. Twitter yesterday, I was losing. I was in a losing argument. But team that are barely in the race might be out by the end of the month. That is fair too, Anthony. That's the counter to my opinion. That you might have less people to compete with. But that last second, or even if you're just competing with 2 teams for 1 guy, that desperation that comes at the deadline, I got to make this move. I can't let the Braves get that guy. Might make you overpay. Just thinking out loud about that. Just thinking. Untouchables is a great movie. It's an extremely underrated movie. I want to do a movie show just with Marshawn because Marshawn always pulls out great movies. The Untouchables, extremely. What? This is a great segue. What is Dave Dombrowski prepared to do? What is Phillies Nation prepared to do? Me, as part of Phillies Nation, is prepared to trade anybody. What are you prepared to do? That was a great setup, Marshawn, for the topic of the day. Who was born when he played? Look, the Phillies have been around since the original 8 baseball teams. What was that, like 1880 something? Literally 135, 140 years. They've lost more games than any team in the history of sports. They've got 2 championships in their history. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. The Phillies are so old. It was basically George Washington crossing the Delaware River, and then the Phillies were created. And they haven't been good ever. We've got an opportunity to get that third World Series right now. But we're worried about what 2029, what 2037, what 2091 might look like. Mike, I Googled it happened before answer report. Yeah, exactly. Just because we trade doesn't mean we trade everyone. Exactly. I'm not saying trade Painter, Miller, Crawford, and McAble for one person. But if you take your 7th and 12th best prospect and then package it with Aiden Miller, sure, you're going to get one of the best outfield available in this deadline. And you're going to become a better baseball team. You're going to take yourself from a 98% chance of making the World Series to a 99. Which is a big deal. We're not going to wipe our farm system out for one player. But you're going to wipe out one of your top 3 or 4 guys for a top player. It's the only way to get better. Drives me freaking up a wall. Baseball talk on summer. I want to talk summer league. I do. And all the Andrew Bonatech, you saw me in the comments, I think, last night. Friggin' Deeves and the crew, sickos, doing summer league pregame and postgame shows right here on Edge of Philly Sports. Sickos. Andrew Bona. Whoa. Jared McCain, 0 for 6 from 3. Yeah. That's sniper. Ricky Council, such an elite player, but he's got to play in summer league. Guys, it's summer league. I'm going to make summer league jokes. The overreaction to summer league. I wasn't watching no summer league action while I was working, but, still. Aiden Miller is completely untouchable. Why? Why? He's 20. He plays third base, shortstop, positions that he's blocked in. You're worried about 4 years from now, Anthony, what Aiden Miller might be. And you'd rather protect Aiden Miller for 2028 than have a better chance now to win a World Series. I'm sorry, the tagline is where your opinions matter, but I just strongly 100% disagree with that opinion. 1,000% disagree with that opinion. And I can't stress it enough how much I disagree with this opinion. You're also right, Phil. Dombrowski should have made a trade by now. What is he waiting for? Exactly. We've gone from a 10-game lead to a 7.5-game lead in the division. The glaring hole has been there since day one. And they said they were going to see what they got. And Dombrowski even said before the season started that they could have and they thought about making 1 or 2 more moves. But they were going to wait and see what they had and then make a move. Dombrowski is going. Let me tell you something. I'm going to name 4 names. Cody Bellinger, Brent Rooker, Jazz Chisholm, Lewis Roberts. One of those 4 outfielders will be a Philly in the next 3 weeks. Is that it? What's today's date? The 9th? 30 days of September, April, June. So there's 31 days. The 31st is the deadline. So that puts us at 22 days till the deadline. There will be one of those 4 guys on this team, and there will be another relief pitcher on this team, maybe another starter. There will be 2 or 3 new players on this team, guaranteed. One of them will be known Bellinger, Rooker, Chisenholm, Roberts. Guarantee it. Dombrowski knows the market. We don't. That's why we're sitting here. Yeah, absolutely. We're sitting here. I sit here and just spew nonsense. I'm just a fan like you guys. I'm not an insider with sources. I'm not some X's and O expert. I'm just a guy that has an opinion that wants to hear your opinion. I'm no expert. That's why I'm sitting here. Barbara's great. I love Barbara. Trade Painter, he hasn't even been up to the Phillies this year. Andrew Painter is recovering from Tommy John surgery, but he is a blue chip, high-end prospect. Look, I would trade Andrew Painter. Now, I wouldn't trade Andrew Painter and Andrew Miller combined for one of these prospects. I wouldn't. I would dabble and consider it in a Lewis Roberts and Garrett. I don't know if it's Crochet or Crockett or whatever, the starting pitcher from the White Sox. You might be able to get both those in a package, but Andrew Painter and Aiden Miller in the same package is very unlikely. But either one individually to anchor a package, 1,000%. Done. No question about it. Get it done. Yeah. Well, Marshawn, you've been with me, Marshawn, since multiple networks ago. Okay, because I'm a gun for hire. I'll go wherever the wind takes me. And you know, last year on this show, I said I would trade Andrew Painter. This was before he had Tommy John surgery. When we were talking whether Andrew Painter might join the team for the playoff run, I said I would have traded Andrew Painter right then and there for Shohei Ohtani, even with no guarantees of him staying in Philadelphia in the offseason. Why? Because I am always all in. I want a title now. I'm 43 in my sports viewing lifetime. So since I remember, my first Phillies game was in 1986. I was 5 or 6 years old. I forget, 6 at that point. Since then on, I have had one Phillies World Series and one Eagles Super Bowl. And that is it in my lifetime as a fan. I guess there's been there was a Sixers title when I was 2. There was a Phillies World Series when I was being born. That's it. I don't care about tomorrow. I care about today. And I think it's nuts. It's nuts. It's why 2 years ago, it came up on my memory feed yesterday. I forgot to snapshot it. It was 2 years ago on this show. I talked about trading Tyrese Maxey for Kevin Durant, I think. Maybe it was somebody else. I forget. Every prospect, very few of these minor leaguers are going to be Mike Trout's or Tyrese Maxey's. The odds are slim. If you've got a window that is open, you trade it. You trade it all, and you go for the title. We got Billy McMillan for Taron Dalton. He knows how to deal. Yeah. Painter won't pitch till 25, and even then, he's going to need time to ramp back up. You might not see him in the bigs till 2026. 2026? Who knows what's going on? If in 2026, Andrew Painter, here, let me throw this to you guys. If in 2026, all right, in 2027, Andrew Painter is a Cy Young candidate for another team, but we won a World Series in 2024, would you care? Because I wouldn't. What would you do? Would you rather not make the World Series in 2024 and maybe have a Cy Young candidate in 2027, which we've already got 4 Cy Young candidates on our team? Or would you rather win the World Series in 2024 and miss out on a Cy Young award in 2027? I think it's a no-brainer. And it's shocking to me how many people think differently. The dodgeball guy for 9. Well, he had Tommy John surgery late last year, mid to late last year, Barbara. So while he was ascending to the pros, while we were talking about him coming to the pros, to the big club last year. He went down with Tommy John surgery. I think it was like late July, before the deadline. Or maybe it was right after the deadline that he had Tommy John surgery, because I was talking about trading him for Ohtani. So it had to be right after the trade deadline. He had Tommy John surgery, Barb. So Tommy John surgery is a year plus. So I saw a video that he was having a light catch about a week ago. And he's still 3 months, 6 months away from throwing on a mound, let alone building up to pitch in a game. So 2025, not even the beginning of 2025, maybe middle of 2025, when he even has a chance to pitch in a competitive baseball game again. Other teams may not want to trade yet. If you are out of the running, you are going to squeeze as much juice out of this. I get it. But again, I'm not going to wait. I'm not going to hold back on this. Robert Jr. does nothing for me. He has had one good season. Yeah, I've heard that. Same thing with Brent Rooker. But he's having those, these guys are having their best seasons now. And they're under control long term. I'm in on Cody Bellinger. People are like, Cody Bellinger's this and that. Look, he's a rental. He's got an opt-out. Fine. Yeah, maybe I might not include Aiden Miller for Cody Bellinger. Maybe I could get Mick Abel and Johan Rojas for him. I don't know. But everybody is on the table. And you know what? Robert Jr. might not be elite, but he's 100 times better than Johan Rojas and Christian Pache and Whit Merrifield. Take off one of those three guys and put Roberts in. We're an instantly better team. Thought he had that in spring training last year. No, it's been a while. 2025 is the soonest for him. It takes 2 years to come back. Absolutely. I was thinking 18 months with the way rehab and baseball goes nowadays. I didn't. Moby had a morning show and was spewing hot takes. Who? Who's Moby? Who's Moby? The singer? The rapper or hip hop? What Moby was a alternate rock music? I don't remember. I just remember the name Moby. No players from White Sox, please. Look, there's no perfect player available. There's like Jazz Chisenholm. He's really a second baseman that they moved to center field. Brent Rooker, he's 29. He's one of those late bloomers. Cody Bellinger, he's a free agent at the end of the year. There are no perfect options. But all the options on the table are better than Johan Rojas and the rest of the crew. Win a World Series now. Watch Eduardo Tate play catcher at the age of 17 and then tell me who's untouchable. Crawford and Tate need to be here when JT and outfielders age out. Crawford to me, not Miller, not Painter. Crawford to me is our best prospect. And the closest, he's tradable. Everyone's tradable. But he's the closest to untradable there is. He's the closest to needing an elite guy to get rid of him because he's not blocked. You go get Cody Bellinger or you go get Brent Rooker, and then in 2 years, you've got Crawford ready to go. Now, Tate, look, he's a 17-year-old catcher. I've heard a few people mention his name. I have. I put literally zero stock in 17-year-old kids and what they're going to translate to 5-6 years from now. Their bodies aren't even fully developed yet at 17. So I'm not ready to say he's untouchable. I'm also not ready to say he's not untouchable. You can't make a grade or a judge on a 17-year-old kid. I would say 99% of the time, you'll be wrong on somebody at that age, in my opinion. Rings over picks. 1,000%. That's why I'm pissed that the Sixers, Marshawn, still have 3 or 4 first-round tradable picks. That's why I'm pissed that they drafted Bona and McCain. Not that those two kids can't be good, but you just dumped $200+ million into Paul George. I want a ring now. Well, I want a trophy now in the NBA. I want a ring now in Major League Baseball. I want a Super Bowl in February. The window is open for those 3 Philadelphia sports teams. Whether we like it or not, the window is open. Some windows are open a little longer. The Phillies window is open for the next 2 to 3 years. The Eagles window is open for the next 2 or 3 years. Sixers is closing a little bit. But the window is there. You're not going to have a chance to get to the World Series as easily as you can right now with this Phillies team. You don't got to get hot come October. You're the best team in the National League, probably the best team in baseball. But the margin's slim. You go out and you trade Aiden Miller now, that margin for error gets a little bit bigger. Rings over prospects. It's a rant. It's something I've been passionate about for a long time, Mitch. I don't care about the future. Let's talk about some of the guys we didn't trade. Tommy, we traded for, then left them in our minors, and then didn't do anything. In like a Darren Ruff or a Tommy Joseph. Yeah, Tommy Joseph was the next first baseman after Ryan Howard. He stunk. Guys, Vince Velasquez. When we traded for him, when we traded away, Giles, we all know what happened there. Who remembers the rest of the guys that we got in the Vince Velasquez deal? Or the Giles deal? Guys, most of the time, prospects in baseball are not going to work out. Not going to work out. Just got a message from Ryan. He's be here shortly to continue this conversation. Cannot be right. Yeah, I don't know about that. That's another old subject. Phil, you have some good years left in me. I have some years. I don't know how many more years, but I got some years in me. Is Philly true baseball town? I'm a baseball guy at heart. Phil might pull a gluteus muscle if he's not careful. Yes, absolutely. Phil's did stink for a long time, but a lot of people also didn't even care because of how good the A's were. Connie Mack ruled the city. That's fair. I mean, you might have been alive for that news, but I wasn't. I would much rather trade for Bellinger because he should cost less. Because he's only got this as the last year of his deal. Absolutely. The guy finished in the top 10 of MVP last year, and people don't want to trade for him. Mason Miller, sure. Back up that bullpen even more. We can all agree Phil's lineup doesn't need $170K per year, Robert. I don't know. Do we need another lefty in the lineup? I haven't really been thinking about the lefty-righty pass part of it. No one's untouchable. We need to find that bookkeeper. Yeah. Yep. I heard Scott Kingery was the next Chase Utley. Yeah. Couldn't trade him. No lessons learned from Ruben Amaro, I see. But again, Chris, and I'm throwing this out there for the 100th time. Who? That we got rid, that Ruben Amaro traded away would have made 2012 through 2019 that much better. Did we trade somebody away that, oh my goodness, if we would have had them, things would have been, Jesse Biddle would not have made our rotation better in 2015. Kyle Drabeck would not have made our rotation a World Series contender in 2016. Sixto Sanchez right now would not be in the fifth spot instead of Taijuan Walker in our rotation or whoever. You got to think of it that way. Ruben Amaro swung for the fences. We didn't get across the finish line, but he gave us the best chance every year. That 2011 team should have won. 2011, not 9, was a bigger disappointment to me because that team was stacked. So even if we do trade Aiden Miller, it doesn't guarantee that we win a World Series. It's just giving us the best opportunity. Then it's up to the players and the coaches to get across the line. Yeah, I think the window for the Union, even the fans, might be closed. Who knows? Who cares at this point? Tommy Joseph wound up concussions, and yeah, he was. Just trying to fire through some of these comments. That is true. Anthony, that is true. Jesse Biddle was also never the same after his concussion. Yeah. Yeah, I forgot that he had a concussion, but still, doesn't make it any better. Guys, real quickly, Ryan Rothstein will be here very shortly. He just messaged me. So before he gets in, I want to fire through our final sponsors of the show, Cherry Law Firm. David R. Cherry. If you need a workers' compensation lawyer for vehicle accident, if you were in personal injury law, criminal law, call my main man, David R. Cherry, the Cherry Law Firm at 610-565-0300, or go to cherryinjurylaw.com. Let him fight for you and get you what you deserve. He is the premier workers' compensation, personal injury, criminal law lawyer in the state of Pennsylvania. So make sure you call him, 610-565-0300. Go to treinjurylaw.com. Make sure you let him know Edge of Philly and Training the AM sent you. And, of course, if you want to go to a bar, if you want to have a good time, Dolan's Bar in Ridley Park. For 65-plus years, they've been the quintessential Irish-American dive bar in the Delaware County area. DolansBar.com. Tell PJ that you heard about him right there on Edge of Philly Sports, Training the AM, and remind him, we want live from Dolan's Bar, Training the AM, EOP for a whole entire day. DolansBar.com, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Dolan's Bar, Ridley Park, 24 East Sellers Avenue, guys. This is Trending in the AM right here on Edge of Philly Sports. Make sure you've hit that like button, that subscribe button, that follow button, that share button, wherever you are watching, and make sure you hit that subscribe button because it's very important. 7-day-a-week program right here on Edge of Philly Sports. There is literally 7 shows on the channel today. I'll be back at 6 o'clock for Fairway to Heaven for this week's Scottish Open, but you got stuff all day long on this channel, including another Sixers Summer League post-game show from the sickos up in the cheap seats. So make sure you guys are locked in to the great channel, guys. Back to the comments here. Jalen Brunson is eligible for it's a lot of money. Sixers can never trade. Oh, my God. I still don't know whether the Bomer or the Bona jokes are better. I'm not really sure at this point. Playing in Boston, really be funny to hear from Bostonians. Bona. Yeah. Bona. Yeah. There's my Boston. Trade Realmuto on our top 10 prospects for Aaron Judge. Now, that seems a little crazy. I mean, Aaron Judge is not available. Zubac and Sarge, yeah, I saw that video. That wasn't really. I think it was a big deal out of nothing. But don't upset Croatians. You know, when they're upset already or they're celebrating their country, don't mess with them. And I've learned that the hard way. I've seen those fights hand in hand. Memorabilia was misspelled on that graphic. Memorabilia? Oh, well, thanks for pointing that out. I don't make the graphics. Nope, I have your comment up so I can't see. Look at that. It is. I've been putting that up there for ages. Big Al, what are you doing, man? Spelling things wrong on the ads. Man, I put that graphic up there. I've been on this channel since the beginning of April. I've been putting that graphic up for 3 months. No one noticed it. Yeah, Big Al, do we got a prize for Anthony M? Because Anthony M has caught a spelling error that has been there. We got to have some kind of prize for him for that one right there. Seriously. That is the Easter egg for EOP, is it? Is it? So he doesn't get a prize for noticing it. I never noticed it. I don't even look at the graphics. I don't even look at the ads. I just randomly wing it. You guys don't know it, but I just wing it every day. I fake it till I make it. Just leave it. We're used to it. So you noticed it, Bar? Are you going to tell me you noticed it and just failed to mention it? Because I never mentioned it. Literally. I had faith in Big Al's Holy Cross education that he would know how to spell memorabilia. But, yeah, I'm not in the cool kids club. I don't know the running jokes. I don't. Call me what I am. It is what it is. Oh, well. Right? It is what it is. Things go over my head. I wake up way too damn early every single morning to pick up on those things. You certainly did. And no, but out of all the things that I get called out for, mispronounced names, messed up stats, not being awake or extremely hungover in the morning, all the things I get called out for on this show. And I've never been called out for the memorabilia spelling error in the ad graphic. Marshawn. I'm embarrassed that Marshawn didn't call me out on it. I'm embarrassed K1 didn't call me out on it. Kind of embarrassing. That's kind of a letdown on your guys' part, the Core 12 part, for not calling me out. Because I didn't notice it. Now I'm going to look at it every single time I do it. Let me see. Where's my ad read? Let's see if it's spelled right in the ad read here. It is spelled right in the ad read, which I don't read directly anymore. I just, kind of put my own spin on it all the time. Interesting stuff here. Let me get real quick into. I got that message from him. Yeah. All right. So hopefully he's here shortly. Our guest of the day. K1's still sleeping. TMZ, I think, is giving up on us. because he's just mad that we're not talking Buffalo Bills football yet. Phil, you're not in charge of graphics, so no worries. What am I in charge of? I don't know. I don't know if I'm in charge of anything, Barbara. Like I said, I'm not even in charge of my own shop. Employees still calling out left and right. Hot ass pizza shop in the summertime. It is what it is. Don't you have a college degree and you can't spell memorabilia? I have a college degree. I didn't make the graphic, but I do from the great Widener University graphic or picture right there in Chester. That's where I'm from. Well, that's where I went to college. I won the 3rd grade spelling bee back in like 1990, mister. I don't know if memorabilia was part of the spelling bee. What year was I in 3rd grade? I don't even know. I graduated from Cross in 93, 94. 94 I graduated. So 3rd grade would have been 5 years before that. So 1989, 3rd grade spelling bee. Champion right here. All right. It's the pride and joy of my entire academic career right there. Hence why I'm still talking about it 30 plus years later. That was my crowning achievement. He's educated. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We didn't really get the best education growing up, Big Al. That's what Springfield brings to you. That's what Clifton Heights. That's why so many of you guys can't get out of Clifton Heights, and you're still all there 40 years later. Oh, man. The things that go on here. Guys, look. It's been a passionate, fiery conversation. Won a 2nd grade spelling bee on the word cued. Man, what kind of school, fancy schmancy school were you going to that cued was in the 2nd? I think in 3rd grade I was spelling cat and hat and boat, like simple words. Like, I don't think I was spelling cued. And if I was, I would be like, what? Use it in a sentence? Give me the origin of the word? You ever watch the script spelling bee? I don't think it's on TV anymore. You ever watch that and just think of those kids that are going for the world championship in spelling at the age of like 10 or 12? Like, have we ever like done like an ESPN 30 for 30 on the script spelling bee champions and where they are 30 years later? Did any of these kids become like athletes or doctors or lawyers? Did any of these kids ever become like, homeless people? Like, I want to know the story of some past champions 30 years later. Because these kids are, at their age, 10 times smarter than I've ever been combined in my life. Definitely not. Definitely not. They definitely are smarter and had better careers and lives than I did, probably. We'll see. I don't want, there's some bad jokes I was thinking of making there, and I just won't do it. I won't do it. I won't trick myself. Spelling bee is a big drinking event. Dude, I'd be doing a shot on every single word because I probably couldn't spell any of them. I was always told by Mr. Iezzi, my Latin teacher in 9th, 10th grade, that Latin will make your mind like a steel trap. Actually, he was my Latin teacher for all 3 years, freshman through junior year of high school. Latin will make your mind like a steel trap. And I had A's in Latin every year. Yet my mind is all mush. I think that's what college did to me. It turned my nice, sharp brain into mush. It's probably why I can't pronounce names. I can't spell worth anything. I did actually watch a few of the spelling bees on ESPN. I found them. It's interesting. I think about these kids and how smart they are at that age and what the kind of workload that they have to put themselves through to get there. It's kind of crazy. Jason Bateman in the movie Bad Words is great. I don't even know if I've ever heard of that movie. This might be the comment of the day, the comment of the week, the comment of the year. It pretty much is. Because I'm still talking about it. He's still talking about it. The ultimate right here. I need to stop for a second. Oh, that wasn't the right buttons. All right, never mind. I don't want to accidentally cancel out the show. I wanted a screenshot of this. I'll have to try to find a way to come back into the show later and screenshot this. Because this is it right here. For sure. So I had 2 years of Latin. I went to Catholic elementary school, kindergarten through 8th grade. Then I went to Catholic private school for high school. Latin was a requirement for 3 years, on top of taking a language for 3 years. So I took Latin, I took German. It is what it is. It's supposed to make us so smart. But yeah, I don't know if it did. Barbara, what are you a Delco Catholic kid, or where'd you go to school? My kids spell better than me. Yeah, because kids today don't speak in full words. They've got like an abbreviated word for everything. Mid, bet. Every word kids use today is 3 letters, and that's it. Like I got to get out my Google Translator to understand what the kids that work for me are talking about half the time. Careful, Phil. You may be selling shoes soon. Look, Al Bundy had a gigantic ass 4-bedroom house in suburbia on a shoe salesman's salary. And his wife didn't work. He had a dog. He had bills paid. Might not have the nicest car, but that shoe salary went far back in 19 whatever. Just so you know. Stevie, good morning. I don't know how we got into spelling bees here. I don't know how this happened. I don't know. We spent a good hour and change talking Phillies, trade the farm, win a damn World Series. And we tried to get into a little bit of Sixers Summer League and how sick everybody is. Like, I don't know if the Sixers Summer League excitement is because Sixers fans are so desperate for anything, or they just are bored with baseball, or they're just crazies. But I don't get hyped for Ricky Council dropping 20-some points in a Summer League game. I don't get hyped for Andrew Bona or Adem Bona dunking on a kid that's not going to make an NBA team. I don't get excited when Jarrett McCain shake and bakes somebody that's going to play in the G League for the next 4 years and gets to the cup and scores. Like, I just don't. I didn't even watch much Summer League during Ben Simmons or Markelle Fultz like rookie years. Like, I don't get into it. I got a friend, John Kerry, not the former presidential candidate, another John Kerry. He goes to Vegas for the Summer League with his son every year, and they go to every game in Vegas. I'm like, why? He's like, because it's fun. Like, no, I don't want to watch Summer League basketball. I want to watch the Sixers. I want to watch people that are actually going to play, people I'm actually going to know. Philadelphia has such a passion for the Paul Turner syndrome. Like, Paul Turner covers all sports. Paul Turner syndrome covers Summer League talk. It covers minor league Phillies prospects that were scared to trade away. Covers it all. And it's insane. Oh, I don't know any of the New Jersey Catholic schools, so that's out of my realm of knowledge. If it's outside of Delco, I don't know it. Did they ask you to spell John? I don't think John was even a word yet in 1989, just so you know. All right, finally, we got somebody here joining us, guys. Hang on a second. Joining me right now, we've got Ryan Rothstein, 97.3 ESPN South Jersey. Good morning, Ryan. How you doing?
Good, brother. Good, man. Sorry I didn't get on earlier with you, but appreciate you having me on.
Better late than never, Ryan, so it's all good, my man. We've had a pretty passionate conversation today, centered around the Phillies so far on this show in the comments. And the theory of to trade the prospects to win and maximize this World Series window or not to, because, we got to worry about 2047 here. Ryan, you're wearing your Phillies hat. This Phillies team has an obvious glaring hole in the outfield. Is there a such thing in your mind as untouchable with prospects?
No, I hate this conversation so much. I passionately hate this conversation. Anyone that says hang on to the prospect, they need their head examined. They really do. I don't understand what the argument for hanging on to an unknown, for a fugazi, for a smoke and mirror, for like an NFT. I mean, I don't even know what it is. Like, what are these prospects? What are we hanging on to? I compared it to like a chip in the casino, like a poker chip. You don't have any money, dude. Like, yeah, you have a $5,000 chip. You don't have any money. The casino has you fooled, right? Like, this is what, we have a 5-star prostitute. You have nothing, right? If you can trade an unknown, an asset for a proven commodity to go and win a title right now, like, you do it. You do it.
I mean, the argument I keep getting, and I keep telling them they're wrong, and I'll let you give your opinions on their arguments, is that 2012 through 2019 were so bad because we traded away all these prospects, and I tell everybody, well, those prospects didn't do anything anyway. And the other argument I get is that, well, Cody Bellinger, Brent Rooker, Jazz Chisenholm, any of these guys, they're not Mike Trout. And I'm only trading these guys if Mike Trout's available. These guys are insane.
Mike Trout.
Thinking this way. Let me tell you something.
Who wants
I've
Mike
literally
Trout?
been getting bashed on social media for 24 hours because I'm willing to trade Aiden Miller, Andrew Painter, anyone, if it's going to give me a World Series right now.
Why are people trying to hang on to Andrew Painter? Has anyone gone to Citizens Bank Park and seen Andrew Painter pitch? No. Like, what are we hanging on to? I don't understand. And Mike Trout, who wants Mike Trout?
Well, I don't think anybody wants Mike Trout. I think they want a Mike Trout. They want that they're only willing to move what they consider elite prospects if you're going to get a generational talent. Which, unfortunately, this year, just like with the Sixers, Paul George was the best option because he was the best option available. This offseason, this trade deadline, Bellinger, Roberts, these are the names that are the best available. You move. You win that World Series. The Phillies have won 2 World Series in about 600 years. You go out and you win a World Series right now.
I'm with you. I mean, I have no argument against you. That's my philosophy 1,000%. I mean, at the end of the day, you go and try and get better, right? Like Philly fans should know better than anybody how difficult it is to experience a championship in any of the 4 sports, right? But I mean, you just said it, especially with the Phillies. I mean, it's impossible. You look at the 2008 World Series team, everyone knows this, but that team was probably, on paper, the worst of the next 4 or 5 teams, of the next 3 to 4 rosters of 09, 10, 11, 12, right? Like, and then we experienced that decade of, horribleness, as you mentioned. So it's tough, man. It's tough. And this year feels like, I mean, at the moment, it's a little bit scary, right, with the injuries, but this year overall feels like our best year right now to bring the championship, back down Broad Street, the parade back down Broad Street. So you go and do it, right? If you can go upgrade center field, you go and do it. If you can go upgrade any of the areas you need to upgrade, you go and do it.
I mean, this comment from Anthony on the screen, I've heard countless times. But what if we had traded Utley or Rollins or Howard when they were in the minors? But
the organization, sorry to cut you off, the organization wasn't in the same position when they were grooming those guys. It's a completely different conversation. We were grooming those guys when we had the quickest team to 10,000 lost, right? Like, we were a joke of a franchise. So we were grooming those guys to try and get back to a respectable place. We've been back to this respectable place. You don't need to hang on to these pieces when we already have Utley, Rollins, and Howard out there.
We already have Utley, Howard, and Rollins on this team, though. We have Harper. We have Trey Turner, JT Realmuto, the pitching staff. People are scared to trade Andrew Painter. You've got 4 starting pitchers that are all in Cy Young conversations that are locked up for the next 4, 5, 6 years.
Right. You have 6 starters out there.
Andrew Painter is expendable at this point. If you're going to get yourself like the core, everyone keeps telling me you got to have that core. The Phillies already have that core. They've got the free agents that they brought in, and they have a young core in Bohm, Stott. Nola was brought up to the system. I just think it's a crazy feeling to be, like you said, I say the most inept franchise in the history of sports.
Right.
Because they literally are. They've been around for almost 150 years, and they literally are the losingest team in all of sports history. Why you wouldn't want to capitalize on a World Series opportunity right now?
Fans oftentimes, especially us Philly fans, like, we want our cake and we want to eat it too. What's the phrase, right? Like, we want it all, right? Like, people said, we want the championship now, but we don't want to do anything. We don't want to make any of the tough decisions that are, necessary to make in order to get to a championship. It's like, these are the tough decisions that you have to make that we all criticize with the benefit of hindsight. It's not that easy.
Yeah. So out of these guys, I mean, you're a big Phillies fan. do you have one of these outfielders that everybody is so against overpaying for? Do you have one that you would prefer to be brought in here at this point? Bellinger, Rooker, Roberts, any of these guys? Is there somebody you really like, have your eye on that you'd like to see?
No, I mean Bellinger is the name, right? I mean they're all names, but for me it's just a matter of if Dombrowski sees an opportunity to go and get better, I'm for it, right? I mean it's that simple. Like I know Rojas, Rojas is an interesting case study, but at the end of the day, like his bat sucks. I mean it just is what it is. The dude's fast. I love him in the outfield, but that's not necessarily going to bring us a World Series. So, like, quick answer, no, I don't really have anyone that I'm like, oh, I want this guy. I want Bellinger over the rest. But I'm just not afraid to upgrade, I think, is the overall point.
I think people shouldn't be. And I see Big Al saying Tucker. Tucker's another name. There are plenty of names. None of them are the elite names. But I asked this question to the commenters, and everyone's still scared, to trade these guys. I'm like, if game one of the World Series, Rojas is your starting center fielder, or Pache or Whit Merrifield, you're not winning a World Series if one of those guys is starting in your outfield.
Yeah, I don't.
or hold on, let me rephrase that. You would feel a lot better with one of these other names starting in the outfield over those three guys.
100%. I mean, I like your initial take because it's a hot take, and I respect the confidence that you said it with. But I don't know if I can go that far. Like I had that debate on 97.3 a couple weeks ago where the person I was debating with said, no, like we can still win a World Series with one of those guys out in the outfield. And I agree with that. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't mean I don't like the idea of upgrading. Right. Like, yeah, this team when healthy has been the best team in Major League Baseball with Pache, with Witt, with Rojas, right? Mm-hmm. Like that's all well and good, but that doesn't mean I don't want to get better, right? So it's like,
let me phrase it like this and see what you think. I still said last year they should have at the deadline upgraded their bench. And who made the last out of the last game of the playoffs for the Phillies last year? Do you remember?
I do. I just said this a couple weeks ago, but I'm blanking.
Jake Cave made the last out.
Jake Cave.
Okay, they didn't upgrade the bench, which would have been somebody instead of. Would you rather in the last out of the World Series, you're down 2-1, right. It's 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th inning. You've got Johan Rojas up to the plate, or you've got Cody Bellinger or Brent Rooker or Tucker or any of these names. What would you prefer?
Dude, I just asked the same question. I've been asking
this question all year. It drives me nuts that people are so hung up on these kids that literally not one of them that we traded from 2007 through 2011, 2012 amounted to anything in the majors.
But here's the flip side of it. To go against the side that you and I are both on, it wasn't Jake Cave's fault we lost the World Series last year, right? Like, Harper sucked. Schwarber sucked, right? I mean, that's just, it is what it is, right? And that's baseball. I'm not calling those guys out, but that's baseball, right? Like, and that's what makes baseball so frustrating. It's why we love it. It's like you could bat 500 for 8 straight months, and then you can have 2 48-hour span where it's baseball, and that's the 48-hour span that are the most crucial out of the entire year. So it's tough. It's an argument that I get both sides, 100% get both sides. But for me, at the end of the day, if I can go upgrade and try and win now, which is clearly what this organization and front office is trying to do, you go and continue to do that.
And I hear you just don't want to overpay. And I get that. But when Cody Bellinger is the best available, you're competing if $60K for a Ford Pinto. Well, if there's only Ford Pintos out there for sale and you need a car, it's supply and demand.
Right, exactly.
There's not a deep supply of outfielders that are like MVP caliber guys. Hell, Cody Bellinger last year, I don't know if you know this, finished in the top 10 of MVP voting last year. Right at the bottom, 10th place. That's not great, but that means he was the 10th best player in the National League last year. So
where was Rojas in that ranking? Right.
Look, real quick. We've only got about 5 minutes left of the show today, and we might run a little bit over today, but I wanted to bring you on because you're Sixer. I think I started following you. I think we started interacting a while ago because of Sixers talk. Sixers Nation is massively freaking out about last night's huge summer league win, and I think it's hilarious. And why is there such a there's more excitement over Summer League than there was about the Paul George signing.
I know. Well, that's because of the Paul George signing, but that's also Sixers Twitter, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and that's a credit to the organization, right? Like we all are so frustrated with this team and franchise over the past 4 or 5 years, but over the past 4 or 5 years, there is an interest in Summer League. There is an interest in every regular season game. So that's a positive, I guess, in a way. But yeah, like let's relax with the assessments on McCain. Like let's just relax.
How about Ricky Council? Let's relax on Ricky Council. Dude,
you're right, but I tell you what, man, if he can shoot the rock like that, he's gonna fight for a spot in the rotation. But let's relax.
I mean, like everybody wanted Ricky Council last year. He wasn't good enough to get on the court last year. There's a reason Ricky Council, even though he's held to this level by Sixers Nation, there's a reason where people think he is because he's playing in Summer League. If he was Sixers fans think he is, he wouldn't be playing in Summer League.
100%. It's like, listen, dude, these guys are all really good at basketball. I know it's a stupid thing to say, but my point is he's borderline rotation piece, pretty much on the outside looking in. So those guys dominate Summer League because he's playing against guys that have never been in the NBA, that have just been drafted.
That might not ever get in the NBA.
That probably will not ever get into the NBA. So all Council's doing right now is maybe bringing up his stock for Morey to trade him in the season for another, like seriously, because the reality is Council's not going to sniff the rotation.
Yeah, absolutely agree with you. On Paul George, I mean, I kind of feel like the Paul George situation is very similar, and even the Ricky Council to the Phillies, where it's just the best that was available. For my listeners that aren't familiar with you, what were your thoughts on the Paul George scenario and the signing of him? Are you on board with that as the right move?
Yeah, because it was the only move, right? Like, and before it happened, I wasn't confident that it was going to happen because when was the last time a free agent came to Philadelphia? Like, I can't name it without Googling it. Right? I mean, like, it's been decades with it before a name, a big time name, has said, I'm choosing to come to Philadelphia. We traded for Jimmy Butler, right? We made traded for James Harden, right? So those were all trades. So no, I didn't have a lot of confidence or expectation that we were even going to get Paul George. But at the end of the day, it comes down to Joel Embiid, right? And am I confident that Joel Embiid is going to be able to stay healthy for 82 games? No. No. Am I confident that Joel Embiid is going to be able to stay healthy past the second round of the playoffs? No. I'm not saying I'm not hoping for it, right? I'm as big of a fan as anybody, but that's what it comes down to. Like, I feel a lot better today than I did last week about the Sixers' chances to win a championship. But at the end of the day, what does that really mean, right? I don't know.
There's so many people in Sixers Nation because they're so desperate for, that success that, they're already putting this team up there with the Celtics. And I keep telling people, I like the moves that they made. But they're still because you say Joel Embiid, his health. Paul George, I know he played 74 games last year, but he's had injury issued, riddled seasons too. Outside of those top 3 or 4 guys, like you think about it, there's going to be games when Paul George and Joel Embiid don't play. And signing Marcus Morris and Kyle Lowry to veteran minimum contracts is still not enough. And those I still say it. If we would have upgraded at the deadline, we would have been in a better position to make a deep run last year. Because we would have won a few more of those Joel Embiid-less games. And when guys are out this year, this team, the depth on the Sixers is so bad. The bench is not anywhere near as good as people think.
I actually don't hate the depth, but I mean, I hear you, right? Like
I mean, Eric Gordon's the only, and Andre Drummond, that's it. But outside of that, are you going to be confident if Jared McCain has to play 22 minutes a game? Are you going to be confident in, Ricky Council playing 22 minutes a game? Are you good? Any of these guys? No. I mean, outside of the first 6 or 7 guys in the rotation, this team is extremely, extremely weak. And just 2 more vet minimum guys are not going to put them even in the Knicks conversation, in my opinion.
No, you're right. But, at the end of the day, it comes down to health. I mean, and that's for every team, right? Like, you look at the Sixers' top 7 or 8 guys, and you say, okay, if they're healthy, they can compete. But I still don't think they're on the Celtics level. I don't even think they're on the Knicks level. You look at the Knicks right now. Look at this Knicks roster. They can switch around the perimeter on anybody. And they have 4 guys, really 5, right? They have the Villanova 4 and OG. If they put that 5 out there for a lineup, that's a tough lineup, dude. That is a tough lineup. And the way the NBA, the style of ball that's played out there today, that's why I have this like conundrum, if you will, with Joel Embiid, because like Joel Embiid is arguably the most talented guy on planet Earth. He's arguably the best guy in the NBA when he's going and when he's healthy. But the style of play that's required for the team to play when he's out there, I don't know if that's championship ball. You look at the Boston Celtics and their style of play, like that's championship ball. When you have multiple guys around the perimeter that are able to score the rock and handle the rock, and that's where your offense is focused, like that's the recipe. And I just, the verdict is still out, is all I'm saying.
Yeah. Eric's saying Elton Brand is the last free agent he can remember signing. And we had a massively overpay Elton Brand.
Yeah, and that was not a big signing. That was Elton Brand at the end of his career. Sixers classic overpay just to try and get the 8th seed in the playoffs, and that's exactly what they did.
And that's why it just popped up in. I love Facebook memories because they remind me of a time like decades ago, and it just reminded. It was just me sharing the Elton Brand contract, and I was like, yes. I remember how hyped I was for that because I was a silly little boy at that point.
It was dark times. That was dark times.
Dark times. Real quick before I let you go. Because we got to get this show wrapped up here. I would be remiss if I just didn't ask you really quickly. We're about 2 weeks out from training camp starting. Thoughts on the Eagles? Do you have any, gut feelings on how this season's shaping up for them?
I don't know. I don't know, right? Like I don't I don't overreact to how Jalen Hurts looks right now because like now's the time that he should look bad. Now's the time the offense should now's the time you're trying to iron things out. So I have no assessment on that, but as far as my confidence level, I don't know. And I'm not trying to be hot takey. I'm not trying to be anything. This is just my gut, dude. Like I don't know what Jalen Hurts is anymore. And I don't know what the best offense is anymore to put around this team. The good thing, they are stupid talented on paper. So it's hard for this team to not win 10 games. Like look at last year, the sky was falling, the world was ending, and you win the division. So I still expect them to win the division. I still expect them to win a playoff game, but I'm very interested to see what the new offensive coordinator, what the new defensive coordinator, what those changes do, and how Jalen Hurts bounces back from a shaky season for his standards.
Yep, I think the Eagles are the perfect example for the Phillies and the Sixers because Howie Roseman is always building this team, but also when the window is open, swinging for the fences on someone like Saquon Barkley, and you deal with the consequences if it doesn't work out later. But I never fault, general managers of sports teams for going for it when their window's open, and that's what we want the Phillies to do. That's what the Sixers just did with Paul George. Will it bomb? We don't know, but they're set up pretty well.
Yeah, agree.
We got Ryan Rothstein, 97.3 ESPN South Jersey. If people aren't in South Jersey and can't tune into the radio, is there other places where they can hear you?
Just follow me at Wiserye, Wiserye. That's the best spot to follow all my nonsense, and we'll see where I'm at. Maybe more on the air in the fall. So
hopefully we hear more of you. I tune into the afternoon show there when I can at work. So you guys, the whole crew down there does a pretty solid job. I just don't make it down to South Jersey very often. So
I hear you.
It's got to be over the interweb for me.
Yep.
Guys, make sure you guys shoot Brian a follow. Thank you very much. We'll have to do this again sometime.
Anytime, dude. Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Later.
That was Ryan there. We got to wrap things up here, guys. We are already 5 minutes into overtime here. I saw a bunch more comments. We're going to pick this Phillies conversation up tomorrow. We'll talk more Sixers Summer League tomorrow. We'll get into some of the football conversations and Eagles conversations that I have in my notes here. But thank you all for tuning in today. Make sure you hit that like button, that share button, that subscribe button, that follow button. I'd greatly appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow, but stay locked into this channel. I'll be back tonight at 6 p.m. Fairway to Heaven, talking the Scottish Open. Got my notes ready to go on the Scottish Open. But everybody have a great day. I appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in today. As we end every show, it's Go Birds. It's Ring That Bell. It's Bubbles Up.